Welcome to the Snowpark Series by Angela Harney, Session 9, Create a Snowpark Stored Procedure. Watch all videos in this series in order to complete an entire solution for Snowpark. Angela Harney is a data engineer with extensive years of experience and is certified in Snowflake. We will take a look at industry standard stored procedures, how a Snowflake stored procedure differs from that, and what is required for a Snowpark stored procedure. The videos in this series are intended for you to be able to pause the video and follow the steps in detail. Industry standard stored procedures, such as SQL Server, consist of one or more executable blocks of reusable code. They can take in parameters and work on data sets created within the procedure. Multiple operations can be formed, and one or more result sets returned, either scalar or tabular. They can be called directly or from an application or reporting tool that can connect to the database containing the procedure. In the stored procedure shown here, it accepts two parameters, declares two variables, and performs logic, returning all columns from a table. A Snowflake stored procedure differs from SQL because it can only contain one transaction, an update, an insert, or a delete, and can only return a single value and not a tabular result set. Snowflake user-defined table functions are used to return tabular data sets, but they will not be available for Snowpark until a future release. Snowflake stored procedures can be called directly in Snowflake from a Snowflake task or from an application that can connect to Snowflake. Snowflake stored procedure languages available are SQL, which is the default, JavaScript, and Java. Scala applications and UDFs are translated to Java when compiled into a package.jar file before being uploaded to a Snowflake stage. The example Snowflake stored procedure shown here is a SQL stored procedure that takes in a parameter and returns a varchar. The results of the select statement need to be guaranteed to return a single row, or the procedure will result in an error. JavaScript procedures are not required for Snowpark, so will not be used for comparison in this video. More on JavaScript stored procedures can be found in the Snowflake documentation. Snowpark stored procedures differ in that they do not contain any code. They have an imports and a handler statement similar to a function. They can return a scalar, single value result set only. They can take in one or more parameters, however the first parameter is always a hidden session parameter. Snowpark stored procedures can be called directly or from a Snowflake task. Since this functionality is not yet released at the time of this video, more details on calling Snowpark stored procedures is yet to be confirmed. In the Snowpark stored procedure shown here, it accepts no parameters and imports two jar files, one being the standard Snowpark library jar file, along with the custom application jar file. The handler statement refers to the path of the method inside the application, package.class.method name, just like we did for functions in Session 7, Create a Snowflake Scala UDF. We are going to change our existing application to be callable from a Snowpark stored procedure. To do this, we are going to make sure our package name, class, and method follow a naming convention we want to organize for the call. Then we are going to make sure it is a pure application. If not, the stored procedure will not allow it to register the call to the method. To be pure, all variables must be declared as val, and there can be no return data sets. The application can only return a single scalar output value. Also, we need to set up our method to accept a session default parameter. Rename the package and debug your application before proceeding to ensure the changes are imported to your application properly. Change main to be a nested method within object main and make sure that it is declared as a unit data type. The Scala unit data type is the same as void in other languages. Add a session object and print statement in this class that calls the walking class and distance factor method that we will be creating so that you can debug your application before uploading it as a jar file. Add a class named Walking. Create a distance factor method in the Walking class and copy your code into the method. Remove all .show statements. Create a variable and send it as a result to specify the code has reached completion. It may not be successful, but it has completed. Create and upload a jar file to a pre-existing Snowflake stage. Following instructions in the Session 7, create a Snowflake Scala UDF for compiling and uploading a jar file. Then create the Snowflake Stored Procedure shown here, replacing the name of your stages and application jar file name. You should be able to create the Snowpark Stored Procedure, but it will not execute in Snowflake because the Snowpark Stored Procedure functionality has not yet been released. Another video will be added to this series when that capability is available.